Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the very next episode of The Remedy with Tova Sido Janice.
Hello.
Hello, and
Janice Gaunt.
And Tom Bridwell. So are you going to do the hyphen or just go by Tova Swank or?
I'm not, I wish it was Swank. It's Shrank. But I think I'll hyphen. I won't give up my name.
Yeah. So how do you spell it?
Schrank. It's actually
Shrank.
Schrank. It's a German name.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sido
I hated
Schwank.
giving up my Sterling because that was my last name.
Sterling is such a good
Sterling
last name.
Sterling is my
such
middle
a-
name.
It is?
Yes, Thomas Sterling
Wow.
Bridwell.
Oh, now where did that come from?
Basically my dad's middle name is Sterling. Betty's middle name is Sterling.
Wow.
Wait, where did they live?
It's a family name, I guess, on my dad's side. Goes back a few generations.
Yeah, my dad was Sterling, and my grandfather was
What
Sterling.
if y'all are related
We
and you don't
probably
even
are.
know?
That'd be
They were
crazy.
from Ira, Texas, and Snyder, Texas. West Texas ranchers. We're all.
Yeah, I think my grandfather came from Missouri, so I don't know if that's.
Yeah, that's probably not.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so
Still
funny.
a cool story.
Yeah, yeah,
Good name.
yeah. It's a great name.
Yes.
It's a great name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I don't want to change my name because it's my kids' names.
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Sido Shrank is really kind of a cool name.
I agree.
The reason we're saying Shrank today is because somebody got married on this podcast.
Saturday. I can't believe
Here
it.
came the bride. It's already over.
I know it is, and there's some stories. There's some bodies. It was a total blast. It was just
Oh, that's
and it was
so
crazy.
fun.
It-
How many people came?
Well, we had a very small.
Yeah.
So it was at one of our dear friends' ranch in Athens, Texas, and this ranch is huge. It's
Is it
not,
Mary Catherine's?
No,
Oh.
it's not a venue. It's their
Yeah.
their family ranch, but it sleeps like 60 people.
Oh, that's
And
really
so we had 50 plus of our family.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I had my 4 very best friends, and Craig had a handful of his best friends and their spouses. So,
So
for the
fun.
wedding, it was about 85.
cool. Yeah, that's
But
so fun.
The best was the family was there all weekend. And so from Friday to Sunday, we're playing games, we're playing pool, we're playing ping pong,
Oh, that's so fun.
we had an epic dance party Saturday night. I mean, it was Paul Rasmussen did it. He officiated it. It was the sweetest thing. It was just, and so we have that ice storm
Yeah, yeah.
right before it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it all melted away and it was 55 degrees and sunny.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, it was magical. And I'm just so glad it went great.
Good.
I'm so glad it's over.
I know. It's great.
Does everybody
Congrats.
say that? Everybody says that. Like, I'm just so relieved it's over. We were driving back last night. I said to Craig, I feel like I kind of lost my part-time job, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to think about a wedding. But we can talk about... Tom came up with an amazing subject today. You found this great article.
Perfect timing.
I was just perusing thegraciouswife.com and thought,
How do you even know about the gracious wife?
I'm just kidding. I'd never even heard of this thing.
I never had
I
heard of
literally
it either.
Googled, things for newlyweds to avoid. And I thought,
That's
it's
perfect.
funny how I came at it from a negative angle and not a positive angle.
Well, but the
Hey,
it's the
we're
negative
trying to
stuff
help
we're
people.
trying to avoid.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
don't need remedies unless there's problems.
That's right.
That's exactly
That's
right.
exactly right.
So this is 10 mistakes for newlyweds to avoid. Once you get married,
Okay.
you may be expecting things to be different. You will likely make mistakes as you navigate the newness of having a husband or wife. Below are 10 mistakes that newlyweds should avoid whenever possible to continue having a happy marriage once the honeymoon phase is over.
So I read through these briefly, Tom, and I mean, we're going to do it based on the idea that you just got married, 10 mistakes for newlyweds. But after I read through these should be mistakes that every married person should try to avoid.
I
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean-
so too. Yeah.
There's some doozies here.
All right. Well, you want me to start?
Yeah.
Kick us
Okay,
off.
number one, trying to change your new spouse. Don't go into a marriage thinking that you can change your man or woman once the rings are on. This is setting your marriage up for failure. If you don't like something before marriage, it won't suddenly change after you're married. In fact, it might irritate you even more. Just because you have committed to each other doesn't mean you can transform your partner to fit your mold of the perfect mate. Allow for mistakes while still being clear about expectations, and always keep learning together.
I think this is a very common problem.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes we want a change in our partner, but it's a sort of thing that it's more of a, like if somebody said, hey, I would really appreciate it if you would help me put the dishes in the dishwasher. So you can ask for what you want. And even if it's something that you would like for them to do differently, I think that we can do that. But we can't, if we're going at it to try to change them on the down low, and just really, really nagging and all of that, then that's going to be a problem. But I do think, I just had a couple this morning, and she was really upset because he was just so angry with her and was yelling at her. And we talked about it, and I said, has he always done that? And she said, yeah, he really has. And I said to him, well, I'm asking you to stop yelling at her because it's abuse and it's not okay. And that really is going to impact your marriage
Absolutely.
in a negative thing. So it's not like you just have to shut your mouth and breathe about everything. If there's something, then ask for it. Talk about it and try to get it, I mean, you can, if they are willing to listen, then, yeah, you make a change.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that what I hear in this, I 1000% agree with that perspective. I think that where people can get stuck is they think, oh, once we get married. And one, I had a client one time say, kids and cancer don't fix a damn thing. And you know what? Neither does marriage. So it's not like,
if you've got it, if it's a problem, it'll still be there.
it'll still be there.
Yeah.
So I think that, just to your point, asking for what you want and need is a 1000%, but expecting that is going to change just because you get married it's very naive.
Yeah.
A way to keep this from happening would be to just try like a trial live period where you live together for a month. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that's kind of not an old-fashioned thought. It's the opposite of that, but man, I feel like so many marriages might have been saved if they had just tried living together for 1 month before they got married.
So Craig and I lived together for just logistically, it made much more sense because I was selling my home and all. It wasn't. If I wasn't selling my home or I didn't need to sell, then I would have probably not.
Right.
But I'm actually glad that we did, because I do feel like we worked some kinks out.
Yeah.
That you kind of just
Yeah.
naturally fall into living with somebody.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But I'm curious, Janice, because statistically, like research shows that couples who live together before they get married have a higher divorce rate.
Really?
Yes. I've been surprised by that statistic.
That's crazy. I would never
Yeah,
have imagined.
I would have
wouldn't
thought
either.
that it would be opposite.
Yeah, me too.
And it's pretty significant. I read the stat years ago, but I remember being like, really?
Yeah. Interesting. Really interesting.
Okay, number 2, letting people come between you two. Your partner is now the closest person in your life. They should be who you share the most time with and share your secrets with first. It's easy to want to still hang out with your friends as much as before, but that may cause feelings of jealousy if you do. Your spouse should always feel like a top priority to you. Your first priority is your spouse and the new life that you're building together. Both of your friends and families need to respect your space and boundaries. Discuss those with your spouse, what those boundaries look like. For instance, how you'll spend holidays or hang out with friends together or separately, and then voice those choices to your friends and family so there's no confusion. I have a thought about this.
What?
So one of the exercises that I do with couples before they get married is do their primary loyalty triangle. And that just helps me understand what's important to them in their life and where the other fits in their triangle.
Isn't it so good?
It's a very fascinating and wonderful exercise.
Yeah, it really is.
But I have to say, there are couples that I have counseled where work comes before each other. And they both are okay with that. And so I think it's my opinion that, yes, I agree with this for me. This is true for Tova. Like, I want to be the most important thing in Greg Schrank's life. And he is number one on my primary loyalty triangle. But if we both mutually agreed that our work is more important than our marriage, and we were both okay with that, don't you think that's okay?
Yeah, I think that it doesn't have to be your only priority.
Yes.
Priority.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it just depends on how your dynamics are.
Me too.
If you know, I mean, it's just not always going to be by the books.
No.
But I think that it's really important that we make sure that our spouse is one of the top priorities.
Heck yeah. I mean, I don't know why you're getting married if they're not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I years ago, I would have been like, they have to be your number one. But I've actually learned from couples that as long as it's mutual, because if it's not, then I see resentment sneaking in eventually.
Well, and some of the, you know, like if you are like my brother-in-law was the chief of staff of the big hospital in Lubbock, and one night we were talking about this sort of thing about priorities, and he said, you know, I have to have my job as a number one priority, but it doesn't mean that she is not another
top
priority,
top three.
Yeah, because if you are, you know, there's just no right, wrong, good, bad, all or nothing around that.
And if she's understandable and okay with that, then it works for them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You want to take 3, Janice?
Sure. Thinking it will be like the movies. There are so many Hollywood rom-coms that present this perfect idea of a relationship. Not from the Landman.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't think getting married will put a fairy tale romance at your door. 95% of relationships will never be like the movies. Real life people have real life quirks. They don't become mistake free once you say, I do. You have to learn to love the real world kind of love you and your new spouse have.
I love that real world kind of love.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just not perfect.
Especially once you start adding children. I mean, that dynamic can get really tricky.
Yeah. And if you marry somebody that's already has children.
Yep.
You know, I had children. Tom had Corey, you know, and
that's
so
tricky.
we had to work through those things.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kinks with that.
Quirks, I love they call it.
Yeah.
Real life quirks.
Yep. All right, Tom, you're up. 4.
Not getting along with your in-laws. There are some marriages where you just cannot see eye to eye with your in-laws. However, you must make sure you do your best to get along with your spouse's family. Even if it means biting your tongue, be respectful and cooperate at family events for your spouse's sake. If there are conflicts that arise, address them with your spouse first to make sure that you are on the same page and decide together how best to handle the situation.
Yep.
Luckily for me, this was not an issue.
Yeah, it wasn't for me either. My first husband, I really liked his mom and his stepdad, and I love Tom's family. They're great. and Tom gets along so well with my kids,
crew.
and so but it can be a booger bear.
Oh, we are. I mean, I'm obsessed with Craig's family, but I mean, it can be tricky. We know all those stories.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
That is not a straight path for most married people.
No, it's not.
And that's tough. This is probably one of the things when I do premarital counseling that is one of the most difficult things for couples to navigate is the in-law dynamic. Mm-hmm. It is not a given. Okay, number 5, compromising about your. Well, oh wait, not compromising. I can't read. I can't see. 5, complaining about your spouse to others. Man, do I agree with that one.
Yeah.
All people in marriages have little quirks and annoyances. Someone always leaves their socks on the floor. Someone never rinses their dishes. It's normal to feel frustrated and need to vent, but publicly complaining about your spouse to friends or family damages your marriage. It paints a negative light around your spouse to those around you. And the more you speak negatively yourself, the more negatively you'll think and feel about it. Instead, be proactive. Talk to your spouse about the big stuff. Talk to your spouse about the big stuff. Let go of the little stuff, and feel free to brag to your friends and family about all the stuff your spouse does right. I really agree with this one.
Yeah, me too. If you're talking to a therapist about it, that's fine.
Right.
But you go outside of that and talk to friends or in-laws or children from the people. I mean, it's just
children would be the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if I talked bad about Craig to my children would never get over that.
Yeah, it would be terrible. Well, neither would Craig.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't blame him.
No, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one.
Okay, number 6, no longer dating your partner. A married couple need, well, anyway, that needs, there should be an S on that, date nights just as much as a boyfriend and girlfriend. Make sure you are still taking the time for romance in your relationship. Be spontaneous and surprise your new spouse totally naked when you go to the grocery store. No, that's not what that says.
I'm not reading along. I'm just watching you, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
I just couldn't help it. I just had to throw a little trash in there.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Landman that shit up.
I know. That's the problem. I've been watching it.
Oh, that's just hysterical.
Okay. Even if you're busy, still try for once a month. Stuck at home, you can still have a date. Cook a recipe together. YouTube how to ballroom dance together. Play a board game. Turn off the TV. Set down the phones and just talk. Okay. You got a date.
Yeah, I love that one.
Me too.
You guys still do a lot of good, fun dating and trips and
Yeah, we really
concerts and
we do a lot of
cooking.
that. Yeah, we do.
You guys have been married how many years?
16.
And how many of you been together? How many before that? A year?
We dated like a year.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
How long were you married the first time?
22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I've had a lot of marriage.
But what's amazing is you were also single for a while.
I think it's 6. It might be 14. I don't know.
That is hilarious.
Okay.
Got to have date night. And I love your advice that you've given us over the years. You got to change zip codes once a quarter.
Yep, that's right.
Go get a hotel room and spice it up.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one. All right, Tom, you want 7?
Number 7, not getting alone time with friends, or not getting any alone time with friends. Okay, while it is important to spend time with your spouse, the two of you need a break from each other at times. Make sure you are having me time every now and then. Practicing relaxing self-care tasks like a manicure, pedicure, bubble bath, or just reading a book in bed or on the sofa. I was thinking more like golf and going out, not just piddling around the house. But
Hey, it's your version, Tom.
Yeah,
Whatever you want.
have a girls' night out every once in a while too. It will keep your marriage happy because you'll miss your spouse while you are away. I mean, this is pretty obvious. My marriage, both of us we got married late, so we were really used to our alone time. Mm-hmm. Both of us were almost 40. So by the time we got married, we kind of knew exactly how much alone. I mean, I think part of our dating process was seeing how much we could be, independent, still be independent.
And together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of what drew me to Maureen and me to her, was because I think she enjoyed that I heard this on TV. It might have been on Landman. I can't, but somebody said it's weird that it was Shrinking. You guys watch Shrinking, right? Surely you do.
No.
Oh, you guys would love it. You're both almost like shrinks.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, I heard this lady in her psychiatrist's office say, it's weird that he desires me but doesn't need me, kind of a thing. Anyway, it was really interesting. That's how I felt about Maureen. I've had girlfriends in the past that were like very needy, and she was not that. But it's very refreshing when somebody doesn't
I agree.
need you.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know what? I think this is a big problem in marriages because, I mean, I know people, they're really not like my best friends, but I know people who they have to ask permission, to play golf, or they have to, it's one thing, we've talked about this before, it's one thing to consider, hey, do we have plans on Saturday? Like the guys want to go golf. Yeah. That's considering, but to have to get permission, or these husbands who say my wife won't let me, and doesn't celebrate. If I have a birthday dinner for a dear friend this week. If Craig was like, I don't want you to do that, I'd laugh.
Say, I'm sorry.
I mean, I would be concerned. Why would you not want me to go be with my friends?
We're just going to celebrate you're leaving. You're about to be out of the house.
Yeah. Exactly. But the thing is that's so nice about being a person, being married to a person and being that same sort of person, that Tom has a guys trip of college friends every year. Mm-hmm. And he's always like, okay, this is when it is. Is that great? Is that all right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's fine. I have nothing. Go have so much fun. I travel with my friends. I mean, I've been to Mexico with my friend Vicky we do our Spanish lessons. We do that 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, it's just it's really easy for Tom and I to do that. And, well, first of all, we trust each other, so that makes a big difference. And it's just, then whenever I come back, I'm so happy to see him.
Of course. You missed him.
Those friendships are just they're really valuable.
1,000%.
Yep.
And I mean, you and I were divorced for a long time.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have my girlfriends during that time, that would have been awful.
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot. My lifelong girlfriends have outlasted my first marriage.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Those are critical to foster.
So there's the one right after it, Tova, you might want to read that, is not getting my alone time with friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read it. While it is important to spend time with your spouse, the two of you need a break from each other. Making sure oh, wait, we just read that. That's the one we just read.
Yep.
I thought that one was more about being with your friends. But yeah, it's alone time and friends.
Yeah.
So I could not agree with that more. I mean, if I couldn't go to California and see my California girls because Craig would get jealous, when Craig and I first started dating, if he put a cramp in that would have been a non-starter for me.
Yeah.
I need somebody who can be a cheerleader for all parts of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to not be friends with my California girls because Craig couldn't handle it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
he celebrates it. That's what a good spouse would do. Okay, number 8 is not communicating well with your partner. Silly arguments and being disrespectful will get your marriage nowhere. Make sure you are calm when you discuss an issue and listen to your partner before speaking. Share your thoughts on the topic and reach a compromise without letting things get too heated. I feel like not communicating well with your partner, I mean, this is like a nice little like overview, but that is such a complicated problem in marriage. I mean, people say all the time, what's the most important thing in a marriage? And a lot of people would answer communication. It's communication. I think what they're really saying, it's communicating, how to communicate through conflict.
And considerate. Being considerate when you are communicating.
That's right.
Because that really makes a big difference.
And you see it all the time. I know I see it all the time, that there are a boatload of people that are married who are not.
Yeah.
I mean, you had that couple this morning.
Yeah.
Who you were telling the husband the way he talks to his wife is abusive because he yells.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of screamers out there.
There are a lot of screamers. And it is not okay.
No.
Yeah.
It is not okay. So yes, not communicating well with your partner is a huge issue. And if you're not communicating well in marriage or before marriage, you're certainly not, marriage is not going to fix that. But I'm telling you, that needs to be fixed. If you're in a relationship where you are not communicating well, especially in conflict, I would just get into counseling, go to therapy.
Yeah. You have to have that kindness element when you're communicating, and even when you're not really, you're kind of discussing something that has a little bit of irritation to it.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get mad or to react too strongly, but it makes a big difference because what we want is for us to be able to communicate anything with our partner.
That's right.
Is texting in all caps considered screaming?
Yeah, I do think so, maybe.
Okay. And maybe like 12 exclamation points?
Yes.
You know what, Tom? I'm so glad you said that, because what I want to say to that is do not argue over text. That is a death wish. That is never going to be done well.
I think a case could be made that it's a governor on your emotions. Like texting it will slow down your anger, maybe.
Well, I think you're very unique if that happens. I think people say things in text message and emails that they would never say in person.
Maybe because they're not right there in front of the person.
Yeah, and they're just popping off, and it's usually a very reactionary situation. Yeah. I mean, either one is not going to be effective, but God, that back and forth slaughterhouse is just
it's just terrible.
They're kind of fun sometimes.
Tom. Okay, Janice, you want 9?
9, taking over his or her place. When the two of you move in together, it's important that you still give your spouse some space. Respect the home you two are building together. Avoid becoming a total slob or expecting him or her to get rid of all of their belongings in order to use yours. This is where compromise really comes into play.
I think this is really important.
Yeah.
I was very sensitive to this when I moved in with Craig, because I was moving into his house and it was going to become our house. But I felt like I really needed to ease. I kept saying, if there's something that I'm doing that you don't like, I would really like for you to speak up.
And did he?
I would say, do you like what I'm doing? And
can I have your closet?
Kind of did take over.
That's number 10. She gets the closet.
That's exactly right. That's so funny, Janice. But I do think it's really important to be sensitive when you move in together, because that's that's a challenge. And even if you move into a mutual place, I think it's just really important to learn the other person
Yeah.
without commandeering the space or saying, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
Finding out what the we is together versus we actually being me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, Tom, you want 10?
Yeah, sure. 10, spilling your spouse's secrets with everyone else.
Oof.
It's okay to seek advice from your family and friends. However, it's important that you talk to your spouse or rather than about him or behind their back. Marriage is an intimate place, and disclosing information that your spouse shared with you is breaking their trust. Yeah, this would be bad if you like spilled all the
Trash
Yeah,
talking.
I mean, I feel like that's the beginning of the end if you're doing that.
Oh, if Craig talked bad about me or told something to other people that I had told him in confidence, that would be very upsetting to me.
Yeah, it would.
But I feel like if you're with the right person, they wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah,
Would
yeah,
hope
for
not.
sure.
For sure.
But there's some pretty bad marriages.
I mean, yeah. Like, I'll say something like, that's so on brand for Maureen, but I'm saying it in jest. I'm not like talking trash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that
Right.
would be the worst that I could probably ever, do. Like, I like to tease her about how she does everything way too soon.
What do you mean?
Well, just like she's like the anti-procrastinator. She's like just today, this morning, we were talking about the meals we're going to have on our ski vacation that's not for 2 more months.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
We're going skiing to Colorado.
Where?
Snowmass. We're going up to
It's my favorite.
Basalt, Colorado.
Fun.
Oh yeah, you stay at the beautiful
Roaring Fork.
Roaring Fork Club.
Yeah, Tom and I are going to
Lucky dog.
Colorado also.
It's going to be
with
fun. There's supposed to be
friends.
some great skiing this year.
Really?
I don't
Oh, yeah.
ski.
Well, you don't?
No. I had a really bad accident when I was 12, and I had to go to the hospital. The ambulance came that's why I had to have all of the cartilage in my left knee removed.
Yeah, that's no fun.
And then it was bone on bone. So then I had to have that artificial knee. That's
You have
in. But-
recovered from that so well, Janice.
yeah, the mechanics of that are just really good.
It's really shocking.
I know.
that medicine can do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, and the only downside to it is if you walk through a
Oh, at the airport?
metal detector, it beeps.
Oh, really?
And so they have
So
to
that-
swipe you, make sure that it's your knee
That it's your knee.
and not a pistol.
All I was trying to say is that, like, I might, in relation to spilling secrets, it's no real secret. Everybody that knows Maureen
Yes.
knows that she's
what
that
she's
way.
about.
So I might just tease her, like, behind her back about that. But I don't think I would ever say something that,
Oh, I don't think you would.
yeah,
at all.
like, I wouldn't
No.
say anything that I wouldn't say right in front of her.
That's the
basically.
best way to say it.
Yes.
That's the best way to say it.
for sure.
Well, I think these are good tips. Do you
I do
think
too.
Do you think they're leaving anything out?
I don't. I really don't.
I think I would also include don't divulge when you talk about like secrets or like special things. Like I don't want Craig talking about our sex life
yeah.
with his buddies
Oh, yeah.
or anybody. You know what I mean? Like that.
Dudes don't really talk about that anyway, and I've heard ladies don't really like.
I
It's
don't-
not
I
like it is
don't-
on Sex in the
think
City.
some do. It's come up a couple of times with people that I've met with, and I'm like, that would not work for me.
I don't know any male friends that talk about their sex lives.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Well, you're hanging out with the right kind of guys. Let's say that.
or it's a bunch of dudes that just don't get any.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't have to know which one it is.
No, we don't.
Would you add anything to this list, Tom?
No, this is pretty thorough. I mean, these are all, like you said, were pretty obvious and it doesn't just go for newlyweds.
I think it's just really cool for these reminders.
Yeah.
You know, even if you've been married a long time, it doesn't hurt to refresh your memory on the etiquette of marriage.
Yeah.
Because it really will make a difference.
Oh, these I think make a huge difference.
Yeah, I don't like it. Like, for example, I don't plan a trip or anything without driving it by Tom. Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Are you cool with it? And he's never said no.
Yeah.
You know, but I do think it's important. I want him to feel like he
Considered.
is having a part of my decision making.
Yeah, you're not just booking and then telling him what you did.
Yeah, I'll see you in a month.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, we hope you guys find these remedies to be super helpful.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling with any of them, get help. There's a lot of really good help out there.
Yeah, there are.
Lord knows you helped me, Janice.
Well, thanks, Tova. I had a lot of help for myself.
Y'all have a great week.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.